Welcome everybody to the very first session, first numbered session of the Turngrave Affair. This is a Pathfinder 2nd Edition original game made by me, and it is going to be played by some of my buddies here. So with me I have Zach. Zach, if you wouldn't mind saying hello. There we go. Appreciate it. We have Shy and Decaf.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
And we have a new friend here. We have Thread.
Hello, everybody.
So, this first adventure, we're planning on looking at this probably going to be around 2 hours or so. This session might be a little bit more setup than our following sessions, but this is a horror-themed adventure. I have my list of no-goes and everything for that, but yeah, we're gonna get into it here. And so I'd like you guys to join me, and I guess I've heard some people call it the imagination sphere, or the pretendcopter,
The fun zone.
the fun zone. And picture, to start with, picture darkness. Picture the void. And in this void, in this blackness, you hear a distant sound that grows louder and louder and clearer until you can make out cheering and thunderous applause. Our vision rises from the darkness upon the citizens of a modestly sized town as they flood its cobblestone streets, lean from windows, and clamber atop sturdier rooftops. Their object of admiration is initially obscured, but not the reason behind such feelings. Pulled by a pair of powerful draft horses is a cart laden with the crimson head of a dragon. Horns curl from its head, and its fang maw could eat one of the horses in a single bite, were it still attached to its body. It rests atop a pile of its hoard, a small hill of coins, jewels, tomes, and rarer treasures still. Nimble squires bounce upon the wagon, scooping handfuls of coin that they toss to the crowd, many of whom are too enamored to scramble for the treasures as it bounces against the street. We push forward, our vision swimming through the sea of people, until we breach and finally see the subject of the celebration clad in gleaming armor. Thread, can you describe this person for us? Oh, Thread?
This person is she is a farmer who's looking for adventure, looking for a fight. She stumbles into a wedding day in hopes of trying to encounter her next steps in her purpose, which is moving away from the farm and becoming a fighter instead. She is excited for what her future holds if she gets to stay on her path. And she loves people who are not only creative and thoughtful and very powerful in their craft, but she also loves a good fighter, a good fighter's party, and a good celebration, which is why she is here on wedding day.
The procession continues towards the center of town, where it circles around a raised platform upon which a number of official-looking people stand. They flash beaming smiles at the returning heroes, but her eyes look towards a single member, a fellow orc who towers over her companions and wears the uniform of a guard captain. This woman gives a smile around her lopsided tusks, an approving nod that causes the younger woman's heart to soar. As the cart rolls to a stop, the knight, the fighter, pulls herself onto it and joins her aides in showering the adulating townsfolk the spoils of her victory, won from the foul beast that had menaced them. More cheers, almost deafening, ring out, and her peal of victorious laughter is lost amongst the sound. However, despite the roaring tumult, there is a noise that manages to pierce through as though spoken straight into her ears. Aurora! She pauses and turns, searching for the source of the gruff voice that nobody else seems to notice. The crowd's smiles remain fixed on their faces, even as confusion and concerns begins to cloud her own. Aurora! A persistent
Hello?
cry draws her gaze downwards, towards the vast head of the dead dragon. Slowly, its milky orb rolls and turns in its socket until she finds herself caught in the inky blackness of the pupil, reflecting her image like a mirror. Lips curl and open as the voice arises once more from the beast. Are you really already asleep? The crowd, the celebration, even the gleaming armor begin to melt and bleed away as Aurora Boreal awakens, blinking the dream from her eyes and finding herself back in the creaking wagon of her parents, nestled atop the blankets, patting the wooden floor. Across from her, tusks and eyes gleaming in the dark, is her twin brother, who retracts the boot he had been prodding her unconscious form with. From up ahead on the bench, they both hear, "Oh, let your sister sleep, dear. We still have a ways to go, and she didn't have to get up early."
Oh,
So
yes, I just woke up.
you stretch maybe and smack your lips a little bit, remembering that
Oh,
you are with your family, still traveling to wedding day. Your mother looks back at
oh,
you, smiling. "We have a nice dream, dear."
oh, Mom, yes, I did. I was dreaming of being already at the celebration and seeing the spoils of victory from my favorite warrior. Oh, for the chance to be a part of important battles and celebrated for my prowess. I can't wait.
"I'm sure you can't, dear." Her father speaks up. "Don't see why it means you have to go around dressing like a warrior all the time. It's supposed to be a celebration of peace." He speaks disdainfully of your armor and the weapons at your side.
Well, Dad, if I'm not prepared, I'm not able to connect with other people that can get me one step closer to my dream.
Bah! Gives a scoff at the idea and whips the reins a little bit, hurrying the horses towards their destination. The Aurora's mother continues. "I thought for sure we'd catch the Steins. Figured they'd like a ride with us. But there was nobody there. I wonder if they already got underway." The Aurora's father answers. "Seems likely. I can't imagine I'm missing this." Aurora's brother looks to her, grinning, almost impishly. "You really think you're gonna make that big of an impression on her, wearing all that getup?"
Oh, Raul, I really hope so. You know how much for years I've been really wanting to be a part of her crew and just learn so much on how to be a really incredible warrior. Oh, if I could just be like her, I will finally fit my purpose. I know farming's important. I know creation's important too, but I know what's important to me is to be a strong protector.
Aye, well, I suppose if anybody's going to do it, it might as well be you. He smiles, and then the voices fade away as we leave the cart, rising into the air to reveal the sprawling pastoral landscape of Airmore. Its rolling hills are dotted with small forests and the occasional farmhouse along the meandering roads. Nestled among its valleys and sprawling fields are small towns of thatched roofs and gently smoking chimneys. In the softening darkness of the approaching dawn, these towns and villages are quiet, save for the occasional movement, or flickering flame. Among these quaint towns, there is an oddity. Situated atop a large but gently sloping hill and encircled by a wooden palisade, is a sprawling town built around a trio of towering windmills. The blades of these great mills turn lazily, but the town itself is already awake and abuzz with activity. We descend into this town, with its shingled roofs, two-story buildings, and cobbled streets, to find ourselves within Weskerville. The streets of this milling town hum with eager activity, a palpable excitement filling the air. Festive banners hang from in between buildings, sturdy tables sit in common areas, and stalls clutter the sides of streets along shops and houses. As we see this, let me get some music started. Men and women, predominantly gray-skinned orcs, fastidiously fill these stalls with their wares, ranging from food to tools to other knickknacks. Those not busy setting up a stall are perusing the goods, enjoying a private preview before the coming festival begins. Already, delicious smells are filling the street as they spill from wagons, stalls, and the open doors of taverns. Our sight settles upon a single street, stopping around waist height, where a pair of rabbit ears, covered in velvety gray fur, come bobbing into view. They wade through the sea of hushed excitement, swiveling to and fro as though trying to catch every conversation. A peal of laughter rings out, and they turn towards it even as their owner continues at a brisk pace down the street. Around a corner, the pointed ears tilt towards the animal growls and sounds emerging from beneath a heavy canvas draped over boxy stacks. An ostentatiously dressed human glances about before ducking under the curtain and gently shushing whatever creature hides beneath it. The ears strain towards that scene for a moment before they swivel forwards and approach a narrow two-story wooden building. A sign hangs over the door, depicting a treasure map emblazoned with a dotted line that terminates in an X. Fanciful script above and below the image of the treasure map announce the building as the Eager Explorers Maps and More. In the large windows flanking the door, maps of various regions are unfurled upon stands, displaying lands exotic and extravagant. These ears pause before these sights, regarding them briefly before stepping towards the door and pushing it open. The bell above the door chimes and the ears step into a shop filled with bookshelves, its air heavy with a scent of ink and paper. The ears stop amidst the shelves, and our vision slowly pans down to their owner, a Lapluna whose fur is darkened with the dust of the road. Shy, could you go ahead and describe what this Lapluna looks like?
Yes, absolutely. This Lapluna, very obviously rabbit, has this mostly kind of grayish fur covering most of his body. It's a little bit of with white fur, kind of like a classic rabbit, you might say. Along the bellies, along a little bit of his cheeks, the tuft of his tail, and maybe like some small splotches every now and again of that white fur along like maybe his knees or somewhere. He doesn't wear too much, enough to keep covered. So, some belts and simple like shorts essentially, kind of around his waist with maps or like a little sickle attached to the side, and his very much very colorful what's the word? Not necessarily scarf, the like a small like mini cape almost, brightly orange that he wears.
All right.
Mini cape almost.
Nate, thanks for joining the stream. We are just getting some introductions done. Nothing too crazy yet. As he steps in, as he glances around the shop, there's a sound of scampering before a pair of heads poke around a shelf, the near identical features splitting the grins at the early morning visitor. Oliver! Pepper and Perry Fairweather, the owners and proprietors of the shop, round the corner. They are shorter even than Oliver, with grayish lilac skin, large bat-like ears, and dark hair colored with vibrant streaks. Pepper's long hair is pulled into a ponytail, while her brother's wild hair is cut raggedly short. Their fingers and clothes are stained with ink, and they approach the Lapluna eagerly. And I actually have some artwork here. This is Pepper.
Ah!
She looks a little bit
Very
less
cool.
mischievous than that normally, but
Normally.
yeah. As they approach, they grin at you. Got some new maps for us.
Perry, Pepper, hello! How have you been, my dear friends?
Well
But
enough.
yes, I do. Yes, I've got one. Nothing too crazy large yet, but just some small changes at least on this one.
So he reaches into his pack, assumedly retrieving this paper that he hands over to them.
Yeah, he's kind of got it like clapped, like just like a small clip rolled up along, like probably along his belt, honestly. So
Scroll
he's able to
case
just
or
kind of
something.
slide it out. Yeah, it's very
Okay.
similar to.
Yeah. Perry takes it eagerly, looking it over, unfurling it. As his sister says, "Oh, excellent, excellent. We appreciate the work. Are you planning on heading out, or were you looking to stay in town a day or two?"
Huh? I mean, I don't necessarily have plans per se, but I was most assuredly originally maybe thinking of going out and grabbing more, unless
Oh, no.
unless you had other thoughts.
Yes. Today at the very least, you must stay. I'm sure you noticed outside. It is wedding day. A day to.
It does make it quite fun to walk around.
Oh yes, you should see it once it gets in full swing. It's just people preparing for now, but should be a good time once everything gets underway. Perry rolls up the map. Yes, and he's a little distracted. Oh yeah, yes, please. You're welcome. We have a spare bed here, or you can stay at one of the taverns. They might be a little busy, but no, you must stay. You must partake.
Well, far be it from me to turn down such an offer.
Oh, excellent. I'm going to go add this to the collection. Make sure it's
Perfect.
all map it out with the rest of everything. Make sure it's good to go.
Of course, please do.
Yep, and he scampers back upstairs, leaving you with Pepper. But if you have nothing more to discuss, if you want to start looking for a tavern in town to maybe acquire lodgings, you are free to do so.
He might look around a little bit, but I'll admit the idea of like a bed here almost sounds tempting in its own right. Just because
might be. You might have stayed here once or twice before. You might know it's a bit more of a couch than a full-on bed. But
hey,
it is
everyone knows
softer
that
than
a
the
couch
ground.
can be pretty comfy.
It is softer than the ground you've been sleeping on.
I mean, I think he might still go out on his way, but I don't know if it's necessarily to look for a tavern. You know, he might look at some taverns while he's out and about, but if anything, he's more just doing it to just walk around.
Okay.
Before the whole thing actually begins.
Yeah. Well, as you get ready to go, Pepper's like, "Oh, meet us here in the afternoon after Mom's big speech. We'll show you around, take you to the best stalls."
Oh. Well, alright. I don't mind if I do. I think that sounds splendid.
She bids you farewell. And
He gives a light bow.
as Oliver exits the Eager's Explorer and leaves it behind, he passes by the front of a single-story building where our vision stops. The sign above the door, which sits next to a long window, marks the place as Harry's Hopping Hovelties, in simple but colorful script. The adjacent window is filled with stuffed representations of normally ferocious monsters, rocking griffins, and hanging puppets. We pass through the store, pressing into a cluttered shop through which particles of dust dance in the first beams of sunlight. Tables and shelves fill the cramped quarters and are laden with highly detailed wooden figurines, gently smiling dolls, and other toys and games. The idyllic silence is shattered by a loud reverberating snore that emerges from past a curtain hanging in a doorway behind the counter. Pushing through this curtain, we now find ourselves in a combined dining room and workshop, likely the source of the errant sawdust, in which incomplete versions of the toys out front languish. Unstuffed teddy owlbears, unpainted figurines, and games still missing pieces sit upon sturdy tables alongside an array of well-worn tools. In the very back stands a tall table that a silvery cane leans against. Atop this table, a large puppet sprawls limply, its lifeless body resembling the graceful figure of a dancer. Its head hangs in its chest, and its strings scatter across the surface. Also resting upon the table is a huddled humanoid figure, from which the raucous snores periodically emerge. As another rumble arises, the sharp, shrill crow of a rooster finally pierces the sleeper's fog and he stirs into wakefulness. A low groan emerges from him as he straightens, despite the protesting creak of old bones and the popping of joints. Zach, would you care to tell us what this fellow looks like?
Alrighty. This individual stands about probably a little over 5 feet tall. He's very rabbit-like, despite being, humanoid. He is definitely gray, but it's not from being his natural color. It's more of age that his fur has begun to gray, with little tufts of white sprinkled about. He stretches and moans from his elderly bones as he reaches over and grabs up a pair of monocles to put onto his face. And as he gets out of bed, he reaches over, grabs his cane, and begins to slowly push himself out of bed and begins to stretch and get ready for the morning day.
Finishing his stretches, the Hairfolk fondly regards the creation on the table before him, reaching out to wipe away a smudge on his cheek with a sleeve of his jacket before noise outside the shop draws his attention. Resting his weight upon his cane, he passes into the front of the shop and strolls towards the door. As he does, he runs his hands over the toys on the shelves, giving some affectionate pats as he recalls each labor taken to craft them. The door creaks as he pushes it open and steps out into the morning air, taking a deep breath until a shrill voice intrudes upon his still, foggy mind. "Mr. Harriman! A good morning to you! Fine day for a festival, wouldn't you say?" The voice comes from Savi, a smartly dressed goblin and the manager of the local Dread, Wrath, and Begone. The weapon shop was set up almost a year ago and has struggled amongst the mostly peaceful farmers of the region. The entrepreneurial goblin has silently started selling farming tools and equipment against the wishes of his employers to keep the shop afloat, but still manages to push off the odd sword or axe on use with adventure in their eyes. He looks to Harryman eagerly, free of guile.
Well, hello! It seems I'm already a little late to the party. Everyone seems to be bustling about already.
Indeed. I just dragged out this, barrel of steel shankers. He pats a barrel filled with short blades. Still haven't had any luck selling them. I don't suppose I could interest you in one. An old soldier like yourself. I'm sure you see the quality.
Harriman chuckles. He goes, "No, my soldiering days are done. But I've heard that there should be plenty of able bodies who will be walking around today. You should make quite the killing in sales."
Oh, he wags a finger at you. I see what you did there, Mr. Herman. Very clever. Yes. Hopefully that is the case. Though not literally. Their
He goes, "Of course not."
Yeah. Their conversation fades out as we leave Weskerville behind, traveling through the surrounding fields that are lit by the now morning sun. We travel down a winding dirt road until a sharp cry cuts through the air. "There! I can see the windmills!" The source of the cry is an orcish teen who stands upon the bench of a wagon with reckless eagerness, swaying in time to the lurch of the creaking cart that is painted with the Golden Harvest Farms in faded golden lettering along the side. One hand ostensibly anchors her to the covered back of the wagon, while the other shields her amber eyes from the dazzling rays stabbing from the horizon. Bryn Goldratt grins widely, her not yet fully grown tusks peeking from behind her lips, at the distant sight of the looming windmills. Several hills and valleys still separate her from them, but she reaches out a hand as though to catch them. Beside her on the bench of the cart is Wolf Goldratt, her father, who chuckles deeply and warmly at her enthusiasm. His weathered hands grasp the reins leading to a pair of grow tusks, pulling the cart. The lowing beasts resemble an immense cross of cow and boar, with thick horns and tusks curling from their heavy heads. The orcish farmer removes a hand to rub at his stubble-covered chin, and shields his eyes to follow her gaze. "Aye, lass, but sit down, or your mother will have me gits for garters. Try to calm yourself until we're there." He returns his hand to the reins before looking over his broad shoulder into the back of the wagon. "How are you holding up back there, lad?" His inquiry is dressed towards a young lizard folk, cramped among the crates and boxes that rattle with every bounce and bump in the road. Decaf, can you go ahead and describe this Iruxi to us, this lizard folk?
Yeah. So this Iruxi takes an obvious appearance like what we commonly see are sailfin lizards. He's got a little bit more of an aquatic gamble to having some fins and some extra pieces about his body. He is still rather young and a little lithe, even though he's a little stocky in the arms. That's mostly just due to some heavy lifting. But dark blue scales and a light discoloration that kind of gives him the appearance of a very nicely kept mohawk is how Silas appears as he is stowed away in the back of this cart.
How does he respond to the question?
You see him kind of rumble around back there, and he kind of peeks his head up and goes, "It'll be really nice once we're on dry land again. I mean, just on ground, please."
Bryn swings down to peer into the back of the cart. "Well, Silas, where do you want to go first? I'm thinking we should hit up the food stalls."
Ooh, yeah, I could go for some food.
"Neither of you are going anywhere until I get some more assistance. We're going to set up the stall, and then you two are going to help me man it until the others get here. Is that clear, Bryn?" Wolf looks at his daughter. She frowns, but nods. "Good. Can't have you going running off too quickly on me now." With his eyes back on the road, Silas sees Bryn take a moment to stick her tongue out at her dad's back.
Silas does everything in his power to keep from doing anything other than like a chuckle that he covers as like a cough.
Wolf casts a curious eye back at you, but doesn't say anything and quickly turns back. However, as we begin to prepare to leave this scene, we do see that Silas is resting an arm across a crate that is separate from the others. It is uniquely marked with chalk, a white X drawn upon its side. But we pass from there, and time flows forward as we find ourselves at Weskerville in the midst of the celebration. Or at least at the very early start of it. The Golden Harvest Farm cart rolls up to the gate, and you guys see a pair of guards standing in the tower above it. They call down to Wolf, and after a brief exchange, they open the way for you. And the cart rolls in. Setting up is quick and easy work, and it is taken place towards the center of the town. The sizable part of it, at least. And across the way, you can see a weapon shop next to, somewhat ironically, a toy store, of all places, that Bryn seems drawn to. and has to be reminded of her father to stay for at least a while until the rest of the family arrives to help man the stall. But that time does eventually come. It's about mid-morning, halfway to noon, when relief comes, and Wolf turns to Silas and Bryn. All right, you lot got the run of the place. No making a mess? Gives both of you a stern glance. A well-practiced warning he has had to offer several times. And be sure you're back here before sundown. Is that clear? Bryn nods enthusiastically, only half paying attention to the commands. And so Wolf looks to Silas, the older of the pair. Is that clear?
Silas looks directly up the sky to kind of see where the sun is at. He kind of takes a mental note for himself to be like, oh, okay, that's what time it is. All right. And then looks back at Wolf and nods his head without saying anything.
All right. With that, it's like, good. Now get out of here. Go skep around, get your food or whatever. Send you guys off. You guys are now all at the Wedding Day Festival. Crowds fill the streets. People from the town and from afar. What are you all doing? Are you looking for games? Are you looking for contests of strength? Are you just trolling the food stalls? Why don't we start with Decaf? Since you were the last character to be introduced. What is Silas up to?
I think the immediate rush off is definitely going for food. I wouldn't say Silas is a hungry growing boy, but he is always more than happy to partake in an extra meal, free or not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there are many of the restaurants offer discounts, but you can also find some tables that are laden with food that people have brought to share freely. Zach, I assume Harriman's wandering the stall or minding the stall or possibly the store. Do you think he takes a moment to like close up shop and wander around though?
I would say that he probably begins his morning while trying to orient and clean up. But if business is, slow as usual, he'll probably put up his be back in 30 minutes sign and go wandering about just to say hi to people.
Of course. Shy. Where's Oliver at in all this?
While I don't know if Oliver would necessarily be going anywhere in particular, I do know that he's probably just trying to get a feel for everything that's happening and all the different stalls. He loves seeing what everyone's going to be kind of going at.
Yeah.
He might be kind of gravitated most towards anywhere that's that's both games and or food, because games is always just fun, but food could always be interesting with just different cultures and experiences of different types of food that people may have.
Yeah, no, you see lots of different events. You see some obstacle races. You see there is a sack race naturally.
Of course.
It is being run by a somewhat dour-looking fade man that seems to take it as seriously as the children do. But there's also some more mature games. There is some martial showmanship going on. People showing off their skills in fencing or other traits like that. And you do find some more interesting games than that. You find a couple. So there's some drinking games at different taverns. It's there's one that you find where whenever somebody can't finish their ale, they pour the remains into a large mug. And anybody that drinks down the mug once it's full and keeps it down gets a little bit of silver.
That is fascinating on levels I cannot describe. And while Oliver might take a mental note to come back to this, I think he's honestly probably more interested in the that combat one. Not necessarily to participate in, but like just to watch, just kind of see.
Certainly. And then finally, Thread. What do you think Aurora's up to? At this point, she might have split up from her family. She's been given leave to wander around.
Yeah. So she and her twin brother Rao do go around the stalls a bit because she likes when Rao gets to go talk with the merchants to get things for his crafts. He likes to do like arts and crafts and builds things. So she usually the pattern is she lets him go through the stalls first, and then he accompanies her to the weapon shop, maybe.
Okay.
To like look at the weapons that are near the really neat toy store. As well as then she definitely sees the people fighting. She doesn't participate, but she also is like watching to see if she could pick up some moves.
Yeah. So you find yourself at one point standing alongside a diminutive bunny man whose ears come maybe up to your armpit if he's standing on his tippy toes. But you guys find yourselves watching the fights together, at least for a time. The day passes easily into the afternoon, and as the sun crests over its apex, a crowd begins to gather in this sort of center area. Around a large stage in one of the town centers, a one-tusked orc woman offers a hand to a matronly Fade. The diminutive figure, garbed in simple and well-worn clothes, waves her off with a grateful shake of her head. She approaches a podium set upon the stage, standing on a stool to look over it, and beams out at the crowd of faces, which includes the four of you. Before she can speak, a winged Heskar approaches her with a wand in hand. They discuss quietly before she accepts the wand and with some coaching taps it to her throat. With a quick thumbs up from the Saurian man, she begins to speak. Hello! Her voice booms across the murmuring crowd, surprising her as much as them with the volume. She pauses to give a small laugh before she continues. Hello and welcome, friends and neighbors! I am Mayor Harmona Fairweather, and I welcome you all to Weskerville. More specifically, I welcome you all to Wetting Day. A cheer runs through the crowd. She waits for it to subside before continuing. You've all worked hard these past months, and I'm sure you'll continue to work hard in the months to come. But today, at the very least today, is a chance to relax. A day to spend among family and friends, enjoying good company, good food, and good times. So partake! She pauses in her encouragement to look towards the stern orc at her side, before smiling back at the crowd. But not too much. Wet your lips, wet your blades, and offer a prayer to the cycle for a good harvest. A cheer rips through the crowd that you guys find yourself drawn up in. And it gets a little bit rowdier after this conversation. But the figure you saw looks like this. Oops, show to players. Harmona Fairweather.
Ah.
Hello, Harmona.
Yep, she is a Fade, diminutive shadow people. Boomer wishes you guys good luck, because he's been through this before. And so, unless there's anything pressing you guys look to do, afternoon slowly gives way to evening. It is still fairly bright out, but the sun is beginning to sink towards the horizon. One way or another, you guys have found yourselves back in this sort of center square. Oliver might be checking in with the Fairweather twins. Aurora's probably checking out Dread, Wrath, and Begone. Harry's returned to his shop and is visited by a young orc accompanied by a lizard folk.
Oh, hello! Hope you're enjoying wedding day. Welcome to Harry's Hopping Hovelties. How may I be of assistance today?
The orc looks around excitedly. Sorry, I'm just browsing. Do you make all these?
Oh, why, yes, dear. I've made every one of these with my hands in love.
Silas, look at this thing. Bryn picks up a stuffed red dragon. Far cuter than its usual appearance. She shows it off to Silas.
See how firm it is.
But they continue to wander through the store. While Aurora, as you peer across at the weapons, a sharply dressed goblin sidles up to you. Hello there! Noticed you've got a keen eye there.
Oh, yes. I'm looking for different weapons that I could try out my prowess with a little bit. A girl can dream, you know.
Oh, yes, certainly. Well, I think I have just the thing for you. If you'll look this way. He brings you over to a barrel that bristles with the handles of short-bladed weapons that have irregular shape to them, but are wickedly sharp. These, he holds one aloft, are seal shankers. A goblin weapon. Very agile, very quick. Good for getting a little sneaky hit in here and there.
Oh, wow. They're really...
I would like you to give me a quick society check.
Will do. Well, there we go. Let's see if that... Did that give a roll for us?
Yep,
Yeah,
15.
Good.
Okay,
Okay.
so you know that these so-called seal shankers used to be known as dog slicers, and in most places still are. However, numerous weapon companies, as well as some goblins, have attempted to rebrand them in an effort to make them more palatable to the general public. They've
So-
not had great success.
Yes. These weapons, they look like they're very sharp, but I don't want to be near something that is for the shaving of dogs.
Oh no! That's it's actually a mistranslation. Promise, Oliver.
Oh,
You are back with the twins, chatting amicably.
Yes.
They're
Oh.
suggesting. Go ahead.
Oh no! I was like, oh, that's the fellow from before.
You see him across the way.
Yeah.
So am I here then, like with the twins?
Yeah. So the twins.
Okay.
The Eager Explorer, Harry's Hopping Hovelties, and Dread, Wrath, and Begone all kind of share a general area.
Okay.
They're neighbors of a sorts.
Ah.
I'm getting there, real sheep.
Hmm?
They can't all survive.
I'm just gonna put this out there. Sheep is trying to get me killed. Because I know who that is.
Oh yeah?
Mm.
Well, As you guys are talking, we pass momentarily. He confirmed it. We pass from this scene
I knew.
back to the outskirts of town. We look towards the guards standing in the tower by the main gate, lamenting their fate. Can't believe we got stuck on this duty. All the good stuff happens towards the evening. His companion rolls his eyes. You'll be fine. Just stop complaining about it every 5 seconds. We'll get through this shift. The guard captain said they'll save us some of the food. The good food's gonna be all gone. There won't be enough to save. She rolls her eyes and glances out towards the horizon. Hey, do you see something out there? The other man steps forward. Hey, what's a big sword? Suddenly, a arrow the size of a javelin streaks through the air, tearing into the man's open mouth and out the back, pinning him to a post of in the guard tower. Before the woman has a chance to scream, raise an alarm, barely even react, another arrow similar in size whistles through the air and pins her to the ground, to the other post.
Oh!
Oh well.
She gurgles and collapses. Time moves forward, nobody noticing this assault. But the 4 of you gathered in this area have your peaceful visit, your shopping, your stall viewing, your conversations interrupted by a terrible scream that rips through the air. The crowd begins to push and move as people struggle, fleeing from something. When suddenly, a shop to the south erupts into flame. People are thrown from the front across the cobblestones. Another one, just to the side of Dreadwrath and Begone, similarly explodes. Aurora finds herself thrown off her feet onto the ground, and another body thuds next to her. You find yourself looking into a orc man. His eyes are rolled back in his head, and he is shaking. And you notice there's something strange, there's something weird. A obsidian blade has been driven into the back of his skull. And as you note this, you see like the flesh around this wound is beginning to blacken, is beginning to like necrotize and rot. And suddenly the man goes still.
Oh wow. Okay.
And as he stops, as his motions cease, he gives a sort of final rackety gasp. And then his eyes turn, milky and lifeless, rolling to look at you. And you find yourself once more looking into the mirror of a black pupil.
Oh.
As this happens, we are all going to move to a new scene. I'm going to figure out how to get you guys there.
Can one roll?
All right, so I need you guys all to navigate to the Weskerville Town Square.
Right. Moving on over.
Loading now.
But to flee.
Loading.
In
Part
these
of me
tiny
wants
crises,
to
I would like to
roll.
flee.
Perception, but I don't.
That's a very fair response. I just put that out there.
Am I able to do that, or is that too soon to do like a perception roll?
Oh, we're all going to be rolling perception here shortly.
I wonder why.
Pum pum pum.
However, you are sitting
Oh,
upon one
hello.
of these barrels.
That checks out.
As chaos erupts around you, the creature, the figure you end up seeing. Oops, how do I? There it is. Kind of looks like this, minus the weapon in hand.
Ah.
That's not good.
Mm-mm.
And so, as it begins to move, I have to resize this real quick. Uh-oh. Everybody is going to roll for initiative.
All right.
Oh no!
All right, let me just add this guy out there. Oops. I apparently didn't have the token set up.
Cool. Selected. Can I not click on?
Okay, you guys should
Oh,
all
there we go,
be
that's
in
why.
the encounter.
Yep. All right.
Hadabah! Oh wait.
Let's see here.
Hadabah!
Efficiency.
Rolling.
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 I have no idea which dice was mine if I rolled any of those.
All right. So,
Oh no!
Silas, you hear an explosion, and you
gosh.
race from the shop to the toy store you were in. As the old man hobbles after you, and Bryn looks around worriedly. Outside, you see a orc woman sprawled across the ground, and a orc man that is groaning. Chaos has filled the square, with buildings burning and people in other areas attacking each other. But this is in front of you right now.
Oh no. Do we know where Wolf and the cart are, and probably some of the other family?
Yes, Wolf and the cart are over here. Oh, I can't ping.
Oh no, I see it. Yeah, you got the little X's. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Then I would want to probably start
However,
moving in
there
that
is
direction.
there's a crowd separating you from them.
Oh no. Okay. Would I be able to, I don't know, like treat it as difficult terrain to try and start like shoving my way through?
Yes. Yeah. You can do that.
Okay.
So
Cool. Then
anything from this square southerly is difficult terrain.
all right. Sounds good. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I want to do then, is I want to try and get Bryn back with the family so that we can try and get out of here personally. So I'm going to start making my way south. My movement speed. I have a standard 25 foot. Okay, cool.
All right. Bryn
So-
calls out, Silas, where are you going? What's happening?
Follow me! I need to get back to the family!
Okay. So she will do so.
Alright. And thus we charge forward. So. You said from like here, essentially, and then it starts becoming difficult terrain?
Correct.
Alright, so that'll be one action then for me. So from here, it'll be like 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, so it's counting, but okay. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I can probably only get to right here with all 3 of my actions.
You push through this crowd, and as you do so, give me a fortitude save, because people are moving. They are shoving. There is
Oh,
a
yeah.
panic that has seized everybody here.
Here we are. And roll.
So, you
That's
manage
right.
to work your way through the crowd, but you end up pushed to the ground, and you are knocked prone.
Oh no.
But actually, I just remembered I can do this to people. You're all prone. No, just you three.
No. That works.
And as you fall to the ground, you hear Bryn shouting, "Silas! Silas, where'd you go?" Having lost sight of you. Next, Aurora. It is your turn.
Yes. Yes. And conveniently, I did want to. Are we confirming that Raoul is nearby, or he did not come with you to the weapons?
He's probably a little bit. He was probably checking out a stall somewhere else, but like in the general area. But
Okay.
you do not have eyes on him. You can't see him like from where you are right now.
Sounds good. Second piece. I don't know if this is an action, but can I get information from potentially orc history that I would know, where maybe seeing that orc's eyes change, I would know something about that?
I don't think, unfortunately, orc lore is going to help you here.
Awesome. Just wanted to
But if you would like to spend an action to recall knowledge using religion, you can maybe do something with that.
I will do that. So I will spend an action on a religion roll.
$14. Okay. So, as this person begins to froth and their eyes turn this milky pale color, you realize that this is a zombie, a freshly made one. You suspect it to be a zombie shambler.
Yes.
They're not terribly quick creatures, but they can pack a punch. What would you like to know about zombie shamblers, aside from the fact that they are mindless undead?
Mindless undead helps. And also I was very curious about maybe speed. And I'm sure it's covered in necromancy, is my guess.
Sure. Yeah, if you're looking for speed, you know that they have a general movement speed of they can move about as quick as most people. They've got a 25-foot movement speed. However, they are all slowed.
Okay.
So they only get 2 actions on their turn.
Got it.
Now you have spent 1 action to recall knowledge, and you are still on the ground.
Got it.
What would you like to do? Yep, you were knocked prone by the blast.
Excellent.
This place exploding.
Excellent. That should be what has happened. I would like to definitely stand, so I will take an action to stand.
All right, you use your second action to stand, and so we can right-click and remove the prone condition as you rise to your feet.
Okay, I was gonna ask if that flat-footed piece, if I needed to be aware of something.
Nope. When prone, you are flat-footed. They're tied together.
Oh, they're a combination set.
At least for prone, yes.
Okay, excellent. And then the last piece of action is readying a action?
Readying normally takes 2 actions.
Got it. Okay.
But you could draw a weapon. You could move.
Yes. I will draw. I happen to be carrying my first hammer,
Mm-hmm.
and so I will be drawing that as my third action.
All right. So if you go on your character sheets for like your actions and stuff, there should be a little button there that you can just hit to draw your hammer.
Did that not? It did not.
Did not go to chat.
It did not go to chat. Let me try one more time.
Well, if it. Oop.
One
So yeah,
more
if
time.
you hit draw one-handed, there we go.
Oh. Yes.
And now your warhammer is drawn. You draw a
Excellent.
heavy
Thank you.
hammer, watching this creature cautiously. But before it
Force.
can act, it is Oliver's turn.
Excellent.
Alrighty.
Oliver, panic has erupted around you. And down the way, you can see an orc woman drawing a weapon against something.
Do I actually recognize said orc woman from before? I mean, I was there at that point in time, standing probably next to them for quite a while. I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her figure looks familiar.
Okay. I think Oliver's pretty quick to kind of act here. He's gonna go ahead and try and help as much as he can. Probably also noticing like crowd moving in is where he's at. So to start, that whole like section here is pretty much fair game to be able to just run almost all the way over without any like
Around the
difficult
shops,
terrain or
it
anything like
isn't.
that.
People are kind of cleared away because it was one of the shops that exploded.
Okay, cool.
So people
I'm
are
gonna
pushing
start
towards
off.
the middle.
Okay. What I think Oliver starts off with as he kind of like hops off the barrel to start making his way over, he's gonna call out inside the shop to Perry and Pepper and just be like, "Quick, out the back! Shops are exploding out here! Quick, move along!" And kind of leave it at that as much as he can.
Mhm.
And then he will take his chance to try and move as quick as he can.
Okay.
Boom. I can get to here with just two actions.
Yep.
Um,
And so you see this prone figure groaning and sort of like snarling as its teeth clack together. Scrabbling out of the ground as it tries to pull itself up. And the sight of it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
whew. Well, I see why people have left now. And I think he's gonna do well. I think he's actually gonna go ahead and because it probably wasn't necessarily like available, he's gonna pull off the buckler that was probably kind of like strapped to his hip and actually like strap it to his hand real fast.
Okay, so he will don his buckler.
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily raised unless you'd allow me to raise it with that.
Probably not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Harry. Pandemonium has erupted outside your shop. You see some people trying to wade through the crowd, get knocked to the ground. You see the young orc girl who had been in your shop mere moments before, trying to get to him and to help him up. Elsewhere, you see two more figures seeming to prepare for battle. What would you like to do?
He'll desperately like hold out his hand to like try to stop the kids, but since they're already like disappeared to the crowd, is there anyone else in his shop?
Presently, no.
All right, then he will just pick up his cane and begin to run down the street to like check on people who were like in or around the explosion.
Alright, so there's one action to move there.
He'll come up to this person because it seems like she's the first one he'll see, and he'll be
Yep.
Just
You notice
kinda-
that she has a hammer in hand. You also notice that the barrel of dog slicers has spilled across the ground. And Savi
And-
has taken up residence inside that barrel.
Well, she's right here, so Harriman will just be like, "Are you okay? I saw you get thrown to the ground."
Oh yes, I'm all right now. I'm ready though. This looks really nasty.
What does? He'll look over at this thing.
Yep, and you'll see an orc who almost looks feral. It gnashes its teeth and claws at the ground, trying to pick itself up.
From, would you say that Harriman recognizes what this is, or would he also have to make his own recall knowledge check?
It would be another recall knowledge check.
Okay.
I could also tell you that this is a zombie, and it's very, it's quick like we are. It is covered in, it's undead. It is, I guess, necromancy around it. So I do tell.
Yeah, you fill him in quickly that you think that this is a zombie.
Yes.
Do you want to?
Harriman
Do you want to
will be
verify
like-
that, Harriman, or trust this stranger?
So this thing, does it still just look like a person? It's just acting weird?
Well, you do notice that there is an obsidian dagger driven into the back of their skull, and that the wound already appears to be necrotizing, like the flesh is turning black and rotting. But they are still moving.
Harriman's gonna shrug off the whole zombie thing, and he's gonna move in to check on this person
Okay.
for his last action.
All right.
It's like, don't talk about monsters at a time like this, as he rushes forward to help this person.
And as he does, the Shambler's turn begins. And so it'll start off with a strike. It swings out with a fist from the ground. With a
Ooh,
24 to hit.
that is a critical hit.
Oh boy. This is what I was scared about.
Why are you scared?
Actually, I think it's forgetting something. Let me see. Yeah. No, it is forgetting that when you're prone, you take a -2 to attack rolls.
Oh, well, then that would just be a hit.
A regular hit. Alright. So it swings out and clubs you in the shin, dealing 9 points of damage.
All right. Harriman, unfortunately, as a game character, only has 8 hit points.
Alright. Harriman, this guy just swings out and just slams his fist into your leg. And as he does, he knocks your feet out from under you. And as you hit the ground, you are knocked unconscious. And you are now dying 1.
And Aurora screams
As a reaction.
as a reaction.
So let's put that on you.
Oh, wow. That's a cool effect.
Yep. So, congrats.
Oh,
You're
do
the
you
first-
see something we do not?
Yep.
You guys can't see this, but everything's like all gray and rippling.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
All right. And for its final action, it is going to grab you.
Uh-oh.
Silas.
Whoa,
Ooh.
I'm not sure what happened.
what is
there.
happening?
Did we all just die?
I do not know what's going on here.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Did you just give everyone unconsciousness?
I did not. The only condition Silas has is prone and flat-footed from being prone.
True fact.
Because this is
Is
what I
this-
see.
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to figure out. My screen went gray. Did I die too?
Refresh just to see.
Refreshing.
I was gonna say I'm doing it now just to find out, just to make sure. But I need to move back to Weskerville. Hang on.
We're moving
Yeah, why
back
is
to
it-
Whisker.
That's super weird.
I'm not sure why it's that way. Continue acting as though things were normal.
Sure.
It's normal. It's totally
The
normal.
normal response.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to try and shove my way back up onto my feet to
Okay.
start.
So for one action, you stand.
Mm-hmm. And then, since I'm getting caught in this crowd, it doesn't sound like Bryn was immediately behind me, so I need to try and find her.
Sounds like you got separated a little bit.
Yeah. So, can I do an action to seek her out?
Yes.
I would probably
Yeah,
cone
go
that behind me.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Sure. Let's see here. That should just be perception. What is this? Oh, I see what this is. This is the blind GM roll. So we want this one. The fourth.
16. All right. So that usually when she first tried to like enter the crowd, she was elbowed aside and knocked to the ground back here.
Oh, okay. Then I'm honestly gonna try and move back towards her for my third action.
Okay.
So that should be 5, 10, 15, 20, so I can get to like right here, I think.
Yep. And you see her on the ground there. But as you reach the edge of the crowd, you also see the hairfolk that you were talking to just a few moments before on the ground, grabbed by this figure.
Uh-oh.
But that is all three of your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Aurora. It is your turn.
Yes. Okay. Question. Does Orc Lore have any healing knowledge or capabilities?
No, that'd be under medicine.
Yeah, I don't have that. I only have religion. Yikes. Okay.
You'll be fine.
I want to be able to help, but I don't know how. I do move closer to check. Not only on Harry, but so that was like my first action. I do want to swing at Zombie, but I'm trying to figure out if that should be second or third action. If I want to check on Harry's status.
I mean,
Or
you
Oh,
can tell that he is dying.
Okay.
You don't
I
have to
can't-
spend an action on that.
Yep, that's fair.
That's in the heart of the cards.
And the horror of the cards is I feel like I don't have anything to help, which is I am not used to that. So she's already in fear, then wants to swing her hammer at the zombie.
Okay. It is flat-footed to you. So if you over on your sidebar here, if you click the little like target thing and then click on the zombie, if you make an attack roll against it, it will roll against its AC and everything.
Okay. So I put the target. I think the actions.
Is strike with the warhammer.
It just says unarmed attack +5 +1, -3, damage and critical.
You should have your warhammer drawn, so it should also say warhammer strike +5.
It just says +5, but it says
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Have the zombie selected, have it targeted, and click that.
Alright, let's see how this goes. Oh, but it says unarmed attack melee strike. That
No,
can't be
click
right.
the Warhammer. Because you want to make the attack with the Warhammer.
Thank you for your patience. Because for some reason the Warhammer wants to be off screen when I hover over inventory.
Oh no, not in inventory. You should be in actions.
Yes, and in actions,
Yep.
my Warhammer is not showing up under my actions menu, which is what's throwing me off.
Alright, I guess I will do this.
Yes,
Wait.
please.
Okay, so strike. That is a miss by 1. If you'd like,
Yeah.
you could spend your hero point to re-roll.
What is the penalty for a second attack? Is it
Well,
-5?
it is yep, so you would have a +0 to hit on the second attack. But if you spend a hero point, you re-roll with your full bonus.
Okay, I will spend that hero point.
Alright, so you can click the little hero point icon up there. That should take it away. Then you'll strike out with the hammer again.
Yes. So it's clicking the hero points.
And a 15.
Oh no, it just added hero points. So I'm gonna stop clicking.
Yeah,
you
right
have to
click
right-click it.
will yes.
There we go.
Alright,
Yay.
you bring your hammer down upon this form. Go ahead and roll damage.
Right. And that is just a D10.
You can just click the damage button in the chat.
Damage button in the chat.
Yep, right beneath your attack there. You see it?
It says attack.
So if you're in the chat messages and you're on your sidebar, if
Yes,
you
on the side.
scroll down at the bottom, there should be a damage. You should see Aurora, melee strike Warhammer, target zombie shambler. Result is a hit by 5. And then after the numbers, there should be a damage box.
And that's not showing for me.
That is weird.
It is weird. That's why I've been thoroughly.
Alright. Well, hey, just so you guys visiting the stream know, or watching this in the future, this is like the second time I've run things in Foundry, so I have no idea what's going wrong with it. I didn't have these issues the first time I ran stuff in Foundry.
Mm-hmm.
But I will roll damage for you.
That'll be fine.
You.
We'll fix it in post.
So that would be 7 hit points, it looks like.
7 points of damage. Alright, you bring your hammer down, smashing it into the back of this creature. And it cries out, but is not down.
Oh, right. Now,
You have one action remaining.
One more action. I actually want to just go ahead and take that hit again, even though I will not get the bonus.
Okay.
So, please roll my Warhammer.
Yeah.
It's center.
So, we'll use you. We'll target that. And strike at a -5.
I am dangerous.
That will barely miss.
Yes.
Alright, that is all 3 actions. Which means it is Oliver's turn.
Alrighty.
Now, Oliver, can you interact with your character sheet?
Can I interact with my character sheet?
Yes.
Fairly certain. I don't have any issues. I don't think. Everything looks like I can click on it. I'm not gonna just randomly click things, but.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I can give it a test here.
Yeah, go ahead and take your turn.
So I see Harry off to the side. I know he's down. Do I also happen to see anyone in the crowd who happens to be down? Do I see that as well, or no?
I mean, many people have been knocked down in the crowd.
Okay, so this one, at least, I know for the moment I saw Harry get battered, and I see he's probably having a lot more issues than maybe others at this very moment.
Yep.
Okay, so in that case, I'm gonna start. Wait, I just realized. I don't know if that requires a healer's tools. Does a what's it called? I want to try and stabilize Harry.
Okay. So you want to administer first aid.
Is that the one?
Unless you have the stabilized cantrip.
I guess that would be what that would be, and unfortunately, that would require healer's tools. Okay.
I will let you attempt to do so at a -2 penalty.
Oh, so exactly what I have.
Don't fuck up.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's not very good, and if there's a chance to critically fail that, I'm only going to make that worse by chance. Without tools. So, maybe not. Even if I'm actually trained in that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and try and help remove the immediate current threat. So, yeah. I will go ahead and make my way to here, kind of doing a quick little hop over Harry.
Okay. You vault over
And
this fallen corpse.
yeah, and then I am going to go ahead and I think as I do it, I think he kind of hops in and he goes for a kick as he comes by, and he reaches out a foot, kind of jumping up to kick it in the face if he can.
Okay.
Or maybe even dead in the chest. So, an unarmed attack.
All right. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
You got it. Boom, boom. Yep. Looks like everything should be good. Here we go.
23.
Wow.
And you did not click to target the zombie, but that is a critical hit.
Oh, I apologize. Thank you. I'll just do that for now. There we go.
So go ahead and roll damage.
Critical. I'll do critical.
Okay.
I rolled nice and low, but that's fine.
So you move across and you shoot a kick across his face, throwing his jaw off kilter. And he takes the damage, but is still standing. He looks very hurt, and his jaw is now clearly broken. But he growls as he turns dead eyes towards you.
Oh boy. I think he's going to try and take this opportunity as much as he can and decide that the zombie, this thing, is probably the bigger threat, current issue at this moment. So I think he's going to try it again. He's going to go for another.
Okay.
Just at a -4 map for an unarmed strike.
All right.
For his third action, huzzah! He is targeted. Bam!
Another natural 20. All right, now we are playing with critical hit cards until you guys start coming up with your character's unique critical hits. And so, you get a card for this.
Woohoo!
Bludgeoning. Split open. If the target survives this hit, he will be taking 1d6 persistent damage as your rabbit kick splits his skull open.
Oh.
I imagine it is sort of like an axe kick. So go ahead and roll
Yeah,
your damage.
I imagine he kind of lands in place and almost like backflip kicks. right into the jaw for... Oh!
Ooh, max damage this time, and your head just smashes through the skull.
My head?
Or your foot smashes through the skull.
Oh!
And as it does, the body goes limp, releasing its grasp on Harriman. Combat is over. The threat is defeated. But the danger is not over. Harry,
No.
with the start
Yes.
of your turn, I need you to make a recovery check.
Is that on the character sheet, or is that just a d20 roll?
It is a d20 roll.
Okay.
All right,
Oh, no.
that is a failure, meaning that you advance to dying 2. Next, we are going to enter round 3. Silas.
Mm-hmm.
You see that
Nice.
whatever happened over here has seemingly
Uh-huh.
ended, but there is still a downed man.
Right.
That you can see, like, he seems very badly hurt.
Mm-hmm. I look down at Bryn and I say, "Just 1 second. I can do this." And he places his hand on the ground and he grabs what dirt comes off of the cobblestone and he blows it out into like a gentle breeze that wraps around Harry as I cast Stabilize.
Beautiful. All right. So, you throw out this magic, and Harry loses the dying condition.
Yay!
However, he remains unconscious.
Unconscious. And then I guess for my third action, can I help Bryn get up so we can start running?
All right. With that, the threat of this combat has reached an end. But things are happening all around. So I'm gonna put a pause to this. And we'll do something like this. From crawling out of the barrel, Savvy the Goblin emerges. Harry! Harry, are you alright? Well, there's no response. He fishes into his equipment, into his belt and everything, and draws a potion that he tosses to Aurora. Feed him that!
Aurora catches it and quickly administers it to Harry, if permitted by Gina.
Yeah, of course. So, what you have just fed him is an elixir of life.
Yeah.
So this is a minor elixir of life. So let me see if I can do... Alright, Zach, if you want to go ahead and click the heal button on that. And with that, you lose unconscious. And for some reason, everybody is still blind.
Yay!
Yeah, I have no idea.
I've been trying to look it up on the side.
Same.
I have no clue what is happening.
Did I really get one?
Harry, I assume you stand. But panic is still seizing the town. Square might have cleared out slightly, but you are aching from the blow you just took, and surrounded by this devastation, as well as a smaller rabbit folk with a bloody foot. What are you guys doing?
Excellent question.
What? I was gonna say, I think Oliver will lead it off because there's still a lot of chaos going around. I think he'll kind of speak out to the two kind of nearby him, who were most present in this most immediate affair, you might say. I think it might be best if we were to at least try to make a move on in another direction. Let's try and at least get away from the burning shop for now. And he'll try to help Harry to his feet and see about kind of getting away from right here, bare minimum.
Agreed.
Savvy
I think
quickly moves to Harry's side. Wait for me, please. And Bryn is
Yes.
clinging
Yes.
to Silas's arm. And I still have
As
no
they're walking
goddamn
away.
clue why you are blind.
Harriman's gonna kind of protest and wait, is there anyone else in the shop? Is everyone okay?
Which shop are you talking about?
The one that blew up.
Well, it is still burning. You don't hear any sounds emerging from it. But,
Well,
we definitely want to move away from it. I also know Aurora's worried about her brother, but wants to attend to the things. Would like to move. Working through that. Did Oliver move?
not yet, but if we're making our way probably to the left and down, I think Oliver would then make his movement.
so
Well, it's probably along with you.
Notably, Aurora is not blind.
What?
Everything is grayed out, but she can, actually see your characters and stuff.
Okay.
Or at least
Noted.
when I click on your character.
Everything's grayed out for me. But
Right,
I
but
can see
Do
him.
you see? So you don't see any swirls on anyone?
I'm not seeing swirl. I'm only seeing gray, and my tokens, no swirls.
Fascinating.
It's probably not anyone's
Whoa.
fault.
Did you just give me the indifferent condition?
No, he gave himself the
Okay.
indifferent condition.
Yeah.
Overly indifferent.
It wasn't intentional, it just kind of happened. I was like, whoa. A bunch happened.
Oliver suddenly catches depression.
Man, talk about a change to the character real quick.
As you guys gather around, a small crowd sort of forms around you. People having recognized Oliver's heroism. The Fairweather twins approach. The back way was blocked. Something closed it off.
What?
And-
Whoa.
Oh no.
You hear suddenly, as they're explaining this, a deep, booming guffaw. And you look, searching for the sound, and perched atop a building to the southeast, so down this way, cloaked, silhouetted against the sinking sun, you see a looming figure perched atop the roof. This massive figure is shaped strangely. They have a very sort of lumpy build. And you hear the scrape of metal you hear the rattle of a chain as they whirl something in hand. And they call out, "Get them suckers!" And a tidal wave of undead seems to pour from these buildings, pushing through the walls. And as they spill out onto the street, racing towards you, a horde that you have no hope of defeating,
Correct.
we will end tonight's session.
Time to go the other direction.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to session 1 of the Turngrave Affair. We're going to figure out what the hell's going on here before the next time we play, which, if everything works out, will be 2 Sundays from now. So, feel free to stop by again. I am going to post this on the Ready to Die YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. And until then, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Thank
Ciao.
you.